Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Miss Smailagic, and I am your principal here at North Point. And if you went to Canyon or Pinnacle, I might have been your principal at those schools too. There we go. Those of you who don't know, Canyon and Pinnacle are our district's elementary schools. So I am super excited to be here and spend a few minutes with you talking about the it just so happens moments that were in my life. So, it just so happens that I made a friend in college. We had matching computers, which was a cool thing back then. And she told me all about North Point. It just so happens that even though I already had job offers at other schools, she insisted that this was the place for me, so I decided to come and check it out. It just so happens that I came for an interview, and the principal at the time offered me a job teaching 8th grade, which, no offense to you 8th graders, I was not very happy about, but I liked North Point, so I decided to take the job anyway. It just so happens that I actually loved teaching 8th graders. It was so much fun. And as soon as I decided I loved teaching 8th grade, they moved me to high school, which I also really loved. It just so happened that that year I was in high school, North Point decided to revamp the social studies curriculum, and I'm a pretty detail-oriented person, so I took on the social studies curriculum. It just so happened that after that summer where I rewrote the social studies curriculum, Mr. Gao gave me a nickname that I don't like so much, but if you want to ask him about it, find him later and talk to him. Or don't. It just so happens that Mr. Gao must have seen something in me that I didn't yet see myself, because he asked me if I ever wanted to be an elementary principal. This is where it gets really tricky, because if you ask Mr. Gao and you ask me, we have very different stories. I'm positive that I said, I've never worked with little kids before, but he thinks I said, I don't like little kids. I'm right, I really do like little kids, I promise. It just so happens that at the beginning of the next school year, the principal at Pinnacle Point quit all of a sudden right at the beginning of the year. It just so happens that Mr. Gao called me into his office, and you know that feeling you get when you get called to the 4A Center and you have no idea why? I had that feeling. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, absolutely. I was really nervous, and I went in there the same way you guys do. I didn't do anything wrong. But it just so happens that Mr. Gao actually told me to grab my stuff. I was now the principal at Pinnacle Point. It just so happens that I was really, really excited, but also absolutely terrified because I had never been a principal before. I didn't know what I was doing. But it just so happens that I loved being the principal at Pinnacle, and then later when I went over and I was the principal at Canyon. There you go. It just so happens that after a few years of being an elementary principal, I decided that my favorite part was being in the classrooms, and my favorite part was finding teachers to instruct all of you. And then it just so happens that I started doing the hiring for North Point and Canyon Point and Pinnacle Point. And while I was here, I remembered how much I liked being around 7th through 12th graders. No offense to kindergarten through 6th grade. It just so happens that something insane happened with Mr. Gao. He fired himself from being the principal. I'm not making this up, he did. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here with you today. I got hired on here, and now I get to be the principal with all of you. Thank you. So you guys know that you have like a really amazing experience in junior high and high school, but I had a really different experience when I was in junior high and high school. I was just trying to get done. I had a full-time job when I was in high school. I just wanted to finish so that I can get a really good job. But then when I was in my last year at high school, I had this amazing history teacher, the one that you're in class with and they really bring history to life, and I thought, I love history. I'm going to be a history teacher someday. I see you shaking your head. Don't do that. I love history. Come on. You know you love it too. When I was a teacher, I knew that I wanted to create the best experience that I possibly could for all of my students in the classroom. Then when I became a principal, I got to do that in the classroom and then for an entire campus. If you take out just any one of my it just so happens moments, I actually wouldn't be where I am with you here today. It just so happens those moments come and go so quickly, but they really do change your life forever, and every single one of them leads you down a different path in a different direction. My moments have led me here to be with all of you, and I'm super excited to see where my next moment leads me.